Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Travel Coach Network podcast. It is I, Sahar Rose Devore, the founder and CEO of the Travel Coach Network and the creator and instructor of the Travel Coach Certification Program. Today, we have another TCN panel episode. This one is all about what inspired our travel coaches to become travel coaches. And we have three of our members joining us today. We have Iuliana Marchian. Iuliana has been traveling solo for over 10 years with more than 1,000 days of solo adventures across the world. Travel has transformed her, and now, as a certified transformational solo travel coach, she empowers others to embrace their authentic selves and travel freely and confidently. We also have Federica Pozzi. Federica, known as the WanderMandala, is an Italian adventurer, travel coach, and advocate for transformative travel experiences. After the profound personal loss of her mom at the age of 23, Fede embarked on a solo road trip across Europe, exploring the places that her mom had dreamed of visiting. This journey set her on a path of healing and self-discovery. As a certified transformational and grief travel coach who has explored over 20 European countries, Fede offers psychological insight and practical travel expertise. Through tailored itineraries and coaching for people who have experienced loss or adversity, she transforms travel into a powerful tool for healing, self-discovery, and meaningful change. And lastly, we have Robin Stimac. Robin is a traveler, a seeker, and a storyteller. Originally from my hometown of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, she spent the first part of her career in the music industry as a promotions manager at Sony Music Group until life had other plans. A series of unexpected shifts, including job loss and divorce, pushed her to reevaluate everything. Instead of staying stuck, she chose freedom. Robin took a life on the road, and in the process, she found her purpose, healing, and a deeper connection to herself and the world. Now, Robin is a writer, a certified travel coach, a yoga and bar instructor, a meditation facilitator, and a Reiki healer. Her journey has led her to Buddhist meditation retreats in India and Thailand, studies in tantric yoga and Ayurveda, and an ongoing exploration of sound healing and breathwork therapies. She believes in the power of transformation through travel, self-discovery, and holistic healing, and she is endlessly curious, always learning, and forever embracing the adventure. Well, Robin, Federica, and Iuliana, thank you so much for being guests on our TCN panel podcast today. I'm so excited to chat with all of you. So let's get started here. You guys obviously have very, in-depth bios and gave great overviews of who you are and what your backgrounds are, but I want to have the audience really understand more of who each and every one of you are and what got you to where you are now as a travel coach. So I'll start with you, Federica. If you would like to just tell us more about yourself and where your passion for travel stemmed from.
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much, Sarah, for having me today. As you said, I'm Federica. I am Italian and I'm currently living in Ireland. It's actually the third country that I moved just because of job opportunities when I left Italy 5 years ago. More or less, I guess I always had interest for travel since I was young. I always like to delve into traveling and meeting different cultures and languages. And I think like travel, especially in the last few years, had a very big impact in my life. But I guess it wasn't always like that. It didn't start at the same way it is now. When I was younger, actually, like I didn't travel much in my life. My family was made of two diverse parents, so I was just going always in the same places, always with my two different kind of families. But I always wanted something more. I always wanted to see more, to travel abroad, to live abroad as well. And I had this dream for a long time in my life. But I guess the big change and the trip that actually really changed my life and made me realize how much I wanted it and how much I liked it is the one that I took when I was 23. As you said, I lost my mom when I was 23, and the year before my mom passed, we had planned a trip together to one of her dream places in the north of France. And not taking that trip actually was one of the only big regret that I had, even before she died. So one day I told her, I'm going to go on this trip for the two of us. And that's what I did. So a few months later, I set off on a 20 days solo trip with my tiny Fiat 500 from Italy. And like it was a very transformative trip. During the trip, I integrated meaningful rituals. I was like, for example, eating our favorite licorice candies on the beach. And I took a lot of time for myself to kind of like talk through the grief and like kind of like really dig deeper into that. And I think like that trip really changed my perspective of my mom loss and transformed my perspective on facing grief without the denial in general. So I think like also that trip taught me the relativity of home. So I always said I always wanted to go abroad, but I kind of like got connected even more to my house after I lost my mom. So I didn't really want to leave. But after leaving for this solo trip and coming back, I realized that actually like my house wasn't a house anymore. So it was kind of like it was just a place where I was staying, but there was nothing more on my kind of old life. So I think that's where everything changed. So that's really where the transformation happened. I kind of realized it wasn't my space anymore. So at that point, I left everything behind and I started like moving abroad. And since then, I didn't stop. So I moved already in 5 different countries and traveled all the time as well. So I guess that's where my transformation and my why came from as well.
Yeah, we'll dive deeper into, how travel can be an effective tool to help cope with loss or grief or something like that, as well. Thank you so much for sharing that. I'm like, every time I hear your story, I'm like, I can't fathom because my mom and I are just so close, and like it makes me choked up every single time. It's like, but it shows your strength, and it shows just how important travel was, not only in your life, but in your mom's life together. And I think that really just brings to the forefront what we do in the Travel Coach Network and in travel coaching in general, is like really trying to highlight how valuable travel can be as in our lives for so many different reasons and in so many different ways. So thank you. Um, Iuliana, can you share more about yourself? What what started your passion for travel? Where did that all come from?
Hi, I'm Iuliana from Romania. And as Sahara said, for the past 10 years, I traveled solo, I traveled long term all over the world. I think there's no job description for a professional traveler, but when you do that every day for 8, 10, 12, or who knows how many hours per day, I think we become a professional traveler by default. But it wasn't like that from the beginning. At the beginning, I used to go on the regular 2-week vacation with a travel agency. However, when I got back home, I was extremely tired and exhausted. I discovered that I spent a lot of money and I didn't even know on what. And I was also very extremely frustrated because I didn't have the time to explore more the place, to connect with people, to feel the place. So at some point, I had anyway this deep curiosity to explore new places. So at some point, I started hosting on Couchsurfing, and I hosted some girls who were traveling solo over the world. And after I saw how easily they were doing it, I had a thought that crossed my mind that, hey, if they can do it, I can also do it. I've been dreaming of that. So that was a kick forward that determined me to start traveling independently without relying on others, and to go at my own pace, to don't rush, to know myself better and how I want to travel. So my first big trip was a 6-week trip to Morocco when I was only by myself. I rented a car, I traveled across the country, and that's when I finally felt that, okay, now I'm traveling. I'm really traveling freely and as I always wanted, but sometimes we want something, but we cannot pin it and say exactly what we want until we really live it and feel it. And that's when I also discovered that satisfying my curiosity brought me a deep sense of freedom and fulfillment and satisfaction that I couldn't find elsewhere. And what can I say? Ever since, I've been traveling every year for 4 to 6 months per year, and I totally enjoy it and I love it. And I hope I'm going to do that for the rest of my life.
I love that two things. One, it just took to see a couple other people showing that it was possible for you to, you know, travel solo. And also that you hosted them couch surfing. Back in my backpacking days, the first couple countries I went to, I couch surfed as well. And that was far before like accessible phones and internet and everything. So I had to just cross my fingers that I was fine. I just never told my mom where I was staying. That's all. I was like, yeah, I'm in hotels. And then thanks for sharing that, Iuliana. And Robin, tell us more about yourself and where your passion for travel stemmed from.
Hi, Sahara and everybody. Thank you for having me here today. I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and yeah, I grew up in the Midwest of America and just went to school and had like a really normal life. But my junior year of college, I studied abroad and went to Paris in France and studied there for 6 months. And that was the first time that I really took a trip, like an international trip outside of Mexico. I'm not going to count that. And I had only been to Mexico once. So it was my first real international trip. And I just was amazed by how different life was and the different cultures, and it just really impacted me very profoundly. And not only did we stay in France, but the friends I met, we took weekend trips everywhere, all over Europe, to Germany, Italy, Switzerland, London. I mean, Belgium, Amsterdam, we went everywhere. So I got to see a lot of Europe, and, you know, all those cultures are so different that it was like just super eye-opening to me. And I just felt it in my bones. So when it came time to go home, I was not ready. And I was surprised because I thought I was going to be really homesick and really wanting to go home, but I really wanted to stay. But of course I had to go home. I had to finish school. So I went home and did that and ended up getting a job in the music business, which was really fun and really cool for a really long time. And I did travel all over the United States for that job. So I guess that sort of fulfilled my travel bug subconsciously. I didn't even really realize for a while. That was the part I liked the most about my job, actually. I didn't realize this till I didn't have my job anymore. But all of a sudden I was like, oh my God, I love the travel part of it. But anyway, I did end up losing my job after 20 years. And they were cutbacks after COVID. And so in March of 2021, I did lose my job. And I just sort of was in like this identity crisis because I was always Robin who worked at RCA Records, and I didn't know who I was anymore. And I didn't know what I was supposed to be doing. And it was really, really hard. And then a year and a half later, unfortunately, I caught my husband cheating on me. And so I went through a pretty messy divorce. And so now I still don't really have a job. My marriage is falling apart. I've moved out. I have nowhere to live. So it's kind of rock bottom. And luckily, my husband and I at the time had a trip planned to Thailand, literally a month after all of this stuff went down. And so I was like, I'm going. He's not. And yeah, so I went to Thailand, and right before I left, I was like, I don't think I'm going to come back for a little while. I just want to see, I need to heal. I'm not ready. I have nothing going on here. And I've always wanted to take a trip, an open-ended trip, and not have a return date. So it was sort of, I just felt like the universe was like knocking me over the head. Like, this is your chance. This is your opportunity. So I took it and I stayed. I traveled all over Southeast Asia for 8 months, and it was like the best thing I've ever done in my entire life. And while I was in the middle of that, I was like, there's no way I can go back to my old life. Like, I have to do this. And just the things I saw, the things I learned, not only about me, but about other cultures and people, and just the way I started to look at life was so different. And all of a sudden I was like, I want to share this with everybody. Like, everybody should be able to feel this way. And I realized by talking to my family and friends and other people, just that so many people are afraid to travel, and that just breaks my heart. It literally breaks my heart that like somebody may not experience the joys of travel. And so I was like, I need to help people get over these fears and experience something different that they may love and they don't even know because they're not trying. So that's what inspired me to become a travel coach. And that is why I am here doing what I'm doing today.
Yeah, I love, okay, so we're gonna get into, that leads into us just like for who you're serving. So Robin, who is it that you ideally serve as a travel coach? Is it other women who have gone through big transitions like that in their life, or is it anyone who just feels like because you understand the power of travel that it can benefit them in other ways despite, wherever they are in their life? Or can you explain exactly who it is that you serve?
Sure. Right now, I'm specifically targeting mostly women in midlife. So kind of quote unquote midlife crisis. I know that's like an old term, but like people who are, I would say, 40 plus, going through some major life changes, whether their kids are going off to school, they're empty nesters now, maybe they're going through a divorce, maybe they're going through a career change, or they lost their job, but they're at some sort of crossroads in their life where they feel like they want to make a change, but they're just stuck and they don't know how, they don't know why, they're just spinning, but they're tired of their bubble and they want something more meaning and purpose in their life. So those are the women that I'm particularly targeting, because that was me pretty much, who went through kind of a very similar situation. So I can very much relate and feel that and connect with those people in particular, those women in particular. So that's the clientele that I'm targeting right now. Of course, though, I'll help anybody who wants help, but that's where I'm targeting.
Yeah, I mean, that makes total sense. And then Federica, what about your journey inspired you to now want to help others, and who is it that you help?
Yeah, I think in different ways. So for me, it was very hard the first time that I did it. Everybody else thought that I was crazy to just do like a trip alone, especially with like so much grief and so many things going on in my life as well. And I did it anyway, and like I could really benefit from that kind of trip, because like also one thing that happens when you lose somebody is that on top of the grief that you already have, you kind of have a sense of guilt or like regrets of not doing things with the person that you lost. And on top of that, you kind of like lose yourself as well. Like the person that you were before is not the person that you are after you lose them. So I think like this kind of loss of identity and direction was like a big part of my life, and let's say, and still something that I'm working towards. So I think that's kind of inspired me to try to help and support the others in a similar journey. So while at the beginning it was mainly targeting people that went through grief and kind of like help them using travel as a way to like heal, I think like what I realized by looking around people my age, like towards the end of their 20s or like early 30s as well, a lot of people are fundamentally lost for different reasons. They could have like issues with their identity, their direction, their career, like a lot of different reasons. So they not always come from grief, but from different reasons. It could be like even like a loss of a relationship. It could be a career that is not the right one. So I really realize it's broader than that. So my aim is to work with these kind of people between their like late 20s, early 30s, who experience loss or they're struggling with grief, healing, connection, or finding their path to kind of use travel as a mean and a way to find themselves or find the answer or find their healing that they're looking for.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Iuliana, what about you? What is it about your journey that inspired you to want to empower and help others?
Well, actually, the truth is that since I started to travel more than 10 years ago, people always came to me and told me that they wish they could travel this way and that they wish they could have the courage to do it. But at that time, 10 years ago, the travel coaching didn't exist as a branch. So I kept telling them that, hey, I'm not a travel agent. I'm not a travel agency. I cannot help you with that. So I kept rejecting them for a while. Until one day when I heard about the travel coaching certification, and I said, okay, that's it. That's what I have to do, and that's why I have to do it. And I understand why all those people kept telling me over and over again the same thing, even though they were so different people. Now I'm targeting the ones who want to travel and want to find their courage to travel independently, to overcome their fears or whatever keeps them stuck, because the excuses and the list can always grow if we don't pay attention to it. And I do that with the support and guidance and resources to help them plan the trips, go on the trips, and come back safe, because it is also important to come back safe.
Yeah, safety is something that you focus on. What else is it that you focus on in helping other women travel solo? Is it the mindset? Is it the confidence? What else do you find important to guide people on taking these solo journeys?
Yes, of course, safety is the first thing, but also when coming back from a trip, I focus on um, integrating, reflecting on what has changed in their life, because sometimes the flow of travel goes on, and there are many things happening, and sometimes we don't even know what exactly happened unless we reflect on it. So yes, I go through this process of reflection and integration, and see what has changed and how it can help you in your life, and how you can integrate it in your life, whether it's boosting your confidence or I don't know, learning how to receive more, or other things that are crucial in your life at that moment.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so many different things that travel can do and bring us, and that's going to look differently for everyone. So really setting those intentions and helping people identify, what are they really looking for out of this experience is super important in order to potentially have those outcomes or those results in your life, right? So just kind of like going over to you, Robin, what was it about traveling and those experiences that was helping you through that really crazy time in your life? Like it's always one thing to say travel is amazing and it's great and everyone should do it, and it'll help you and it's transformative and whatnot. And it's another to really give some examples of, and this is going to look different for everyone, but for you in particular, what was it exactly that was helping you? And of course there's probably a list of things, but what are a few things that travel really did for you?
Yeah, it's a great question. There's actually so much, of course, that was happening that I didn't even really realize at the time. But honestly, I mean, what happens when you solo travel is that you're planning everything on your own every single day, and you're encountering new things that you've never encountered every single day. So you are overcoming your fears every single day. You are empowering yourself every single day. You're becoming more confident because you're doing it. You have to do it. You have to survive. You have to keep going. But in addition to that, I was like learning so much about, like I said, like learning not only from the cultures, the people, the local people where I was, but also the other travelers that I was meeting along the way, having just discussions with them, and then word of mouth suggestions. You should go to this Buddhist monastery and do this silent meditation retreat. And like, then all this inner healing started, and like, it's just so many different things. I could go on forever, but like, those are a few examples of specific instances where I just feel like the self-growth, the confidence, the empowerment, like that's really, really what made a difference and made me want to keep going, and what I want to share with everybody.
Yeah, there's so many places in this world that we don't have access to from where we are. And I'm not explaining that properly, but like being able to visit Buddhist temples and go to these sort of, silent retreats or wellness experiences, you're not going to find that everywhere here in Milwaukee, right? So it's being able to see, and everywhere's so different. It offers so many, the nature's different everywhere. The towns are different everywhere. And it's the unknown, but the newness, I know for me, is something that I was so addicted to, because it's like I've never heard of that, or I never thought of that, or never seen that before. I want to learn more. I want to experience that. Or, wow, this is beneficial as well. We're just exposed to so much because this world is just so diverse in people and culture and place and everything. So I can definitely hear and that that was important for you in your journey. And Federica, uh, for you, what is it about travel that was helping you through that really difficult time in your life, that traumatic time in your life of grief and loss? Can you think or remember any specific things about your experiences, your trip that was helping you?
Yeah, definitely. I think I have more, but I think like the most important piece was really like getting rid of the background noise. So like all the people around me, all the kind of familiar places. So like stepping away from that, being alone completely, doing what I really wanted to do, kind of like what Robin was saying. It was very helpful for me to like slow down and really take time to think and process things as well. And another thing that I never thought would be impossible was the connection that I got with people. So I'm always skeptical to kind of share my story with people that I don't know. But during travel, I found myself to do it quite often, obviously with the people that I could match with, and I felt like there was a good connection. But what I realized is that a lot of those people had similar stories. So we really connected with kind of strangers on very deep levels. So I think that really helped me a lot to understand, obviously, that my case wasn't the only one, but also all this kind of like the connection that you create with people that you just met for a night or whatever, and how much you can learn from them and their experience and how they process the grief. I think that was something that I would have never expected, to be honest, and was really, really interesting and really helped me a lot through my own journey as well.
Yeah, the people that we meet along our journey, help shape our perspectives, can teach us new things, and we also learn that we're a lot more alike in this world than we are different. We share similar experiences or ideas or pains, and then having that connection with people as well. And the fact that you said that the people that you met, you shared similar stories with them, and that's just a true testament to how powerful travel is that you're not the only one who felt like I need to turn to travel to help me through this, that other people turn to travel. And that's something that when I was backpacking, I always found like the industry just had a big void in talking about. And that's why, what sparked my idea for the Travel Coach Network, and to hear all of your guys' stories and like exactly like look at how powerful travel is for us as human beings for all these different reasons and times in our lives, and in so many different ways too. So all three of you have really unique stories and the value of travel. So thank you all so much for sharing that. I'm going to shift gears a little bit. We are coming towards the end of the episode soon, but I love to hear, because all three of you have been in the Travel Coach Network for quite some time now. I lose track because I've seen you guys and we talked and involved with the TCN for a while. So I'm like, feel like I know all of you for years, which I might have. But can you just share a few words of how the Travel Coach Network, like what did you love best about the Travel Coach Network, or how has it helped you, or even maybe just the certification program, because each one of you are graduate of the program as well too. And I'll start with you, Iuliana. How has the TCN impacted you?
So first of all, when I became a travel coach, I didn't know exactly how to deal with that, because I've been a freelance travel writer for the past 10 years. So I knew how to get collaborations, but building a business around travel coaching I discovered it was a total different thing and it needed a different approach. So that was very new and helpful for me to understand what steps I need to take and what to focus on so that you don't get scattered all over the place. And then the TCN, the members in the TCN with who I connected, my accountability partner, and helped a lot because we shared experiences, where we get blocked, where we have questions, and so on. So very helpful to see that also other people go through the same things that you are going, and how they managed to get over it. And also the resources that are shared in the TCN, and all the media opportunities. Sometimes there are so many that I cannot even keep the pace with it. I still have a long list that I have to pitch, and so there are a lot of opportunities. And yeah, it saves a lot of time, because these things are very time consuming, and if you have to do them on your own, yeah, it's time consuming. So it's very helpful to just have them and go for them. Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, we're glad that you enjoy all of that. We strive really hard to provide you guys with as many resources and opportunities as possible. Robin, what about for you? How has the TCN impacted you?
I honestly cannot say enough good things about this network. I love it so much. And when I first found it, I was like, oh my God, this is exactly what I need. I'm so excited. I didn't know this existed. But the content, first and foremost, was the first thing I was introduced to. And it's just so thorough and so helpful, and kind of lays out a plan for you and goes deep and makes you think about things that you hadn't thought about when you first got the idea to do this. So the content is amazing. The resources, like Iuliana mentioned, are just, there's so many, and there's so many events and things that you can join and things that you can do to learn more, or be featured somewhere in another podcast, or an article, a writing, whatever, a journal article, whatever it may be, a publication. But also I think the biggest part though is the community is just so great, and everybody is so supportive of each other. And I don't know what I would do without it. So it's been very helpful in starting something from scratch, which is what most of us are doing, and it's not easy to do. So thank you for everything, because it's amazing.
Thank you. I know this community, I love seeing when people meet up with each other and support one another and reach out and have chats, whether it's virtually or in person. And you guys sometimes send me pictures, and my heart just smiles, because I'm like, I wish I was there with you. But it really just means a lot that you guys do find this connection within one another, because you guys all have unique stories and have so much to offer, and are just incredible human beings. So I appreciate you appreciating us. And then what about for you, Federica? What has the TCN done for you?
I definitely agree with everything that has been said already, but I think like I will take a step back and saying that like more than in my business, I think it helped me in my life in general. So after the grief, as I said, like I kind of completely lost my identity, but I had like another recent crisis that was more about my life purpose and the direction, and especially when it comes to work. So I kind of built up my career in corporate, and I just realized it wasn't a life that I like, or that wasn't for me. And I thought I didn't have any option, to be honest, to change my life, or that like even like find something that it was more aligned with my needs and nature, until I found this program. And I studied psychology in university and always had a passion for supporting others. So the program kind of gave me the hope and a kind of a direction that I could follow. So for me, that's the thing. Like the moment I saw it, I knew, as been said already, I knew it was the path that I wanted to take. So I think it's more like even broader than just a business part.
Oh, we love that. Like, don't make me all teary-eyed here. We are so happy to have you here. You are a shining light in the TCN. All right, we're gonna have a fun question. My favorite question is there a fun fact about yourself? It doesn't have to be business or travel related that you can share with our listeners. And I'll start with you, Robin.
I guess my fun fact is that I have met many, many famous people through my job. So I used to rub elbows with Justin Timberlake, Britney Spears, Pink, Miley Cyrus. And like when people meet me, they just don't believe me. So that's kind of a fun fact. Yeah.
When you had that job, were you in Milwaukee, or did you live somewhere else?
I started in the music business in New York City, but then I moved all over the country. I was in Charlotte, North Carolina for a while, then San Francisco, and then Chicago.
Oh, okay. So you just moved to different places.
Yeah. Yeah. It was very fun.
Sounds fun.
I can tell you lots of stories about different artists someday offline.
Should start a TikTok about it. I'm sure people want to hear stories. Iuliana, what's a fun fact about yourself that you can share?
I just discovered this last trip that I did through Southeast Asia, that I have a lot of fear around water.
Yeah?
I don't mind airplanes, trains, cars, driving, but when it comes to deep waters and boats, I was terrified, and I even thought to myself that, hey, you are a travel coach, you are helping others overcome their fears. Now you have to overcome your fear. I don't know how much of it I managed to overcome. I traveled anyway for long distances with ferries, but I was still a bit uncomfortable. But that's the truth. So
Okay,
also
that's a
travel
common fear.
coaches have
That
their
makes
fears.
it makes total sense.
Yeah.
Deep, dark waters is, not a lot of people's thing. So, and what about you, Federica? What can you share a fun fact about yourself?
I'm not sure if it's a fun fact, but it's something that I'm definitely proud of. So I kind of like stepped to the next level of my dreams, and I decided to resign from my job. So I'm taking a gap year to travel the world finally and live as a digital nomad. So that will be my life soon, and I'm very excited. And it's finally like happening after years of dreaming it.
Yeah, I love that. So that's what you're doing in the midst of moving right now, you
I
said?
am, yes. It's coming very close now.
Well, you have to keep us updated on where you are in this world, and do reach out. There's a lot of people all over the world in the TCN that I know would love to meet up with you. Well, Robin, Federica, and Iuliana, I want to thank you guys so much. Oh, let's do Iuliana, can you share where can people find, follow, and learn more about you first?
Yes, I have my website, travelingauthentic.com, which is undergoing some changes now, but it will be ready soon because I transformed my old travel blog into the website. And also my profiles on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Traveling Authentic. So I'm trying to be active there. And I hope that I will start a YouTube channel soon.
Go. Robin, where can people find, follow, and learn more about you?
My business is called Wandering Toward the Light, just toward without an S. So Wandering Toward the Light. And you can find me at Wandering Toward the Light at Instagram, at Facebook, at LinkedIn, and also YouTube. So I don't have a ton up there yet, but I'm working on that as well.
Wonderful. And then Federica?
I'm still a little bit behind on the social side, but you can find me on Instagram at the WanderMandala, and hopefully this year will also help to build something more on that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, share that adventure that you have and this new journey and transformation in your life at this point too. I know a lot of people will like to follow along with that. Well, again, thank you, the three of you, for being a guest on the TCN podcast today. Everyone, please be sure to follow us on Instagram at the Travel Coach Network. Learn more at thetravelcoachnetwork.com. Come give us a hello in our TCN Global Community on Facebook. You can find the link for that and your free beginner's guide for travel coaching in the show notes, along with all of Iuliana, Federica, and Robin's links that they mentioned. If you know anyone who may be interested in travel coaching, please be sure to send them our way to our podcast. We would truly appreciate that. And until next time, my fellow wanderers, bye for now.